Welcome to day 2 of the MCParks Expo. It is wonderful to have you all here. Today's the big day because we got the keynote coming up at 4 o'clock. Pre-show starts at 3:30, so come on down at 3:30 if you want to look at an archive of old MCParks videos from our YouTube channel, and then all the new content will begin at 4 Eastern. So you can head on down to mcparks.us/expo. I was disappointed to learn that YouTube actually removed first-party support for embedding live stream chats. So if you want to be a part of the live chat, you're going to have to hop on down to the YouTube page. But there's a link.
Or else use discussion, I guess. That could work.
You can also use the Expo panel discussion channel here. But yeah, we can't wait. But that's not what we're at right now. Right now, we are at the MCParks application panel. So I introduced all these people yesterday. But we'll go down the line real quick. I'm Ryan. I'm one of the owners. Darren's the other owner.
Hi.
This is
I'm
Beck.
Technician lead.
This is Jess.
Hello.
Aaron, we have to share a mic.
Jess is one of the executives who does a lot of the hiring process for GRs. Kaylee,
Hello.
likewise.
Yep.
Pandemic is the guest relations lead.
Hi.
Aaron's the Imagineer lead. I can't hear him.
Nope.
Neither can
Nope.
we.
And,
Just pretend what he sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello,
You'll hear him
I'm
later.
the Imagineer lead. That's what he sounds like. And then this is Josh. He's an executive as well.
Hi. Welcome. I have a handheld.
I was
mic.
hired to build the boardwalk and the Crescent Lake resorts, and I still haven't finished them.
And that's
Spot
Aaron.
on. Nailed it.
Hi, Aaron.
I heard that one.
All right, so hi, welcome to the application panel. We're going to talk a little bit about. Is this my microphone or your microphone, Darren?
Yours is right in front
Look
of
at my
you.
space over here.
You're lucky you have
I know.
a microphone.
Kept moving me around. Anyway, Josh is like, we don't have enough, so he's walking around with the handheld mic. Anyway.
Freaking
wow,
Bradley
Monsoon
didn't
just
put enough
started
mics
outside
on
my
here.
window.
I think it was Brad.
Anyway, here we are. Application panel. You're all here because you are interested in maybe applying to work here on MCParks. That's great. Good to have your interest. We get a lot of applications. How many applications do we get?
A bunch.
Quite a bit.
A billion.
Yeah.
A decent number. So I think the best way for us to kind of like power through this is to just go like department by department for what everyone looks in those applications and kind of the sort of like the best practices on applying and kind of what we're looking for and what some of the qualifying or disqualifying information would be.
Yeah. So of course, the place that you want to go if you want to apply is mcparks.us/apply. I guess first we'll cover this basic first page. Nothing super important here. We just want basic biographical information about you. A question that we get sometimes is why we ask for the email address if we don't contact you by email. That's because occasionally we have you set up accounts for other services. Sometimes we will set up accounts for you and on other services that we use to help make all of our work get done smoothly. And your email address is just good information to have there. Of course, if you are chosen and we think that your application shows promise and we want to follow up, we're going to contact you on Discord. And so your Discord is the most important thing. I don't need to tell that to all of you who are currently in this channel because we're on Discord. Yeah, we want to know your time zone because, MCParks, we have cast. We are very blessed to have cast from all over the world, which is great. Because it offers a lot of different perspectives on different things. Different people have different parks as their home parks, and they have different experiences with each of the parks that we create. Sorry, I have to turn on my sound because I hear lots and lots of fireworks. And it's great for GRs too to have people in lots of time zones because our guests are from all over the world as well.
I think we've diversified a lot more too. We used to just be North American a lot, and then we really, in the past 2 or 3 years, we have people from everywhere now.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there is a strong bent towards English-speaking countries, as you can imagine. But there's stuff all over. Yeah, we ask if you've worked on MCParks before and if you've departed. We know if you're lying for the most part, so maybe tell the truth there. And similarly, if you've worked anywhere else, we just want to get a feel for your experience in the community. Generally, more experience is a good thing, but we are friends with people in the community, and we're going to follow up and ask, what you did and all that kind of stuff. Want to know all your dirty secrets, right, Darren?
What?
We want to know everyone's dirty secrets.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then of course the most important question on the entire application form is, what is your favorite color? If you answer that one wrong, instant denial.
No lying on this application form.
Yeah, no, it's just for fun.
Yeah.
So do we want to go down these in the order they appear on the form, or do we want to just like pick one and start?
Well, we all know that most of these people are here for guest relations. So whether we want to do that first or last, I mean, guest relations is easily the biggest application.
Yeah, we can start with guest relations. Yeah. So Pandemic, Jess, and Kaylee, you guys want to talk a little bit about what you're looking for when you open up a guest relations application?
Yeah, sure. You guys just cut me off if you have anything else you want to add. So, in an application, we definitely love to see your personality and especially your stories. If you can elaborate at all on any of the questions, not just 2-word answers, we really love to see those long sentence answers. And of course, learn a little bit about you. Outside from the application, and I think even more important than the application itself sometimes, is making yourself known on the server and on Discord. And what I mean by that is hanging out in the general voice channels, coming to the weekly meetings, helping in chat on the server. You don't have to have a fancy tag to help in chat and help other new guests learn their way around. We love seeing that, and that will definitely get you progress to our next step.
Yeah, I mean, guest relations is unique among the other ranks because you can basically do a lot of the job and do a lot and complete a lot of the goals of that rank, even if you don't have the rank. Just as a guest, you can be on the server, you can help new players, you can answer questions, you can just foment. Well, foment's maybe a bad word, but you can facilitate conversation in the chat. And that's really what we want our guest relations to do. How about like on the application itself? You mentioned like making your personality shine. Do you have anything that any of you can like elaborate on that?
Jess or Pandemic, do either of you want to take that?
I guess I can. So, I mean, we really just want to see, a lot of people try to go for that uniform answer, but while that's nice, it is nice to see who you are and kind of see your personal spin on things. Those applications really make the difference when we see, oh, you're so-and-so, we've seen you before, and we can see who you really are versus just answering that baseline.
Yeah, for sure. Darren, what are you doing? Darren, some of the time when we went back and we were like, you and I were going through and looking at guest relations applications, sometimes we would literally just like take any that wrote more than like 4 sentences for every question and just be like, yeah, sure, we'll interview you.
Yeah, because the questions aren't necessarily like, so like in the few off instances where I've had to like look at GR applications, and I mostly do it for when I have to look at mostly Parks Experience applications, but for these questions, I'm not necessarily looking that the information that you're giving is necessarily correct, because we'll teach you the proper ways how to like moderate a community and stuff. Like that's all stuff that we can teach you. But what I'm looking for is you to make a firm decision and have justification for that decision that you're making. And so usually you can't get that across in like 1 or 2 sentences. So the fact that you're writing like 3 or 4 is an instant like A+ in my books.
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. And that like, we ask a couple questions like, how would you deal with the, this situation or anything like that on the guest relations application? And we're not looking for you to give a, 100% correct answer to that. And it really is just more making sure that you have, like justification behind your answer, and it's well reasoned, and because obviously that is something that we can just teach you.
Yeah, we're really looking for potential on these applications. We're not expecting you to have it all down, because if you did, you probably wouldn't be a guest right now.
For sure. And also another big thing that we love to see on guest relations applications is grammar. Making sure that your sentences, like the start of them, are capitalized, capitalizing proper nouns, things like that. Just good sentence structure, because that's what we like to see in chat as well. Of course, we're not super strict with everything, but we would just like to see to make sure that you're using proper words and such.
Yeah. So what generally happens after an application gets put in, and we think that this person shows potential when it comes to a GR application? What happens next?
So what happens is we will highlight it and get in contact to the person via Discord and set up an interview with them. And in that interview, we'll just discuss stuff about MCParks, ask them a few questions, and see how much they know about MCParks. And if they happen to know a lot, and they were just very calm and just really had a casual conversation with us, more than likely you'll get hired.
We do try to make it more of a conversation than like an interrogation, though. So it's very relaxed. Like, we'll talk about you, get to know you a little bit, because we do want to know you. We do want to know more than just what you're going to do on MCParks, of course. But it is just a time to kind of see, okay, you know this, or maybe you don't know this. We need to work on, this area. It's just something kind of to get that gauge on where we need to begin.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Any other things you guys want to add before we turn it over to the guests if they have any questions?
I think that pretty much covers it all. Just definitely gonna stress being active on Discord and talking in chat just outside of your application. And I did see, I think Chrysler did ask about this. You do have to have a minimum age of 13 years old, as per Discord's guidelines, to apply for any rank here.
Yeah. That's Discord. Well, that's just general internet rules. If you're going to have your own account on things, you generally need to be 13. If we knowingly have people who are under 13 on the Discord server, we can actually get in trouble with Discord, and that's happened before with Discord servers. So, can't have that. So do guests, do you all have any questions about becoming a GR, or what to do on your GR application, or anything like that?
Looks like Chrysler and BVC both have one.
I don't see. I'm looking in the Discord chat, but if you see them, ask away. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it in Minecraft.
It might be a good strategy to have someone looking at Discord and someone on Minecraft.
Yeah. So what was the question?
Yeah, I'm looking at both. I don't see.
Oh, there he is.
Right.
Yeah, they said I do.
Cameron asks, how many GRs have gone up to further ranks in the server? So it's not very often that we have leadership changes, but in the past and just throughout history, if you came yesterday as well, you would have heard more about this. But we have a lot of opportunity for growth. This is something, I guess, that we will be talking about in the GR panel a little bit later today, but we do have trainers, and they kind of help assist a little bit more than just their daily duties of just being a GR. So we'll talk about that more later today as well. So,
Ooh, a teaser.
yes.
So yeah, if you want to hear more about what happens after you become a GR and things and where you can go from there, that's definitely something to go into the GR panel. And I'm sure that some of the guest relations on that panel would have some insight into how they joined the team. If you have any questions about any specific stories of people, so definitely come on down. It's at 2 p.m. What's a good amount of time to be on the server before we apply?
I would say like a month or so. You just want enough time to kind of know what's going on, around, know the community a little bit.
Yeah, we want you to have a pretty good grasp of the server culture, what's going on, how things work before seeing that application. Is there an amount of time or hours that you expect the staff to be on every day or week?
No, definitely not. We really prioritize real life over anything else. We definitely want you to have a good balance and make sure that your schoolwork or just work in general are your main priorities. So, whenever you can come on is more than enough, but definitely love to see at least 4-ish hours each week, but that's not a set in stone number. Just as much time as you can give is more than enough.
See Chrysler's comment here. Do you need any experience?
What do you mean experience? Like just doing other kinds of like. I mean, yeah. No, you don't need to have any like actual experience in like moderating communities or anything like that.
I joined when I was 13 and had absolutely no experience, and here I am, so you'll be fine.
I mean, yeah, like in some cases, working here and being a GR here and working with the community and everything is people's first experience with being in this kind of a role, and then they'll go on to do more things in their real lives, in school and in other extracurriculars. So it's definitely a good personal growth thing too. I think learn a lot of good skills for dealing with people. I know that I definitely did, at least.
I mean, you put MCParks on actual job applications, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily for the leading a community aspect, but for more of the technical stuff. But yeah. Yeah. Do you need to know all the warps by memory? No.
No.
I don't know all the warps by memory.
There's a magic band that does that.
Yeah. There's the website too, mcparks.us/attractions. You can go there. The warps for all the attractions are on there.
You need a general idea of where things kind of are, but we have 500 warps or something. I don't think you need to know all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as you know the big shops, I think you're good, because that's what most people ask for.
Yeah, and honestly, that's just something that comes with time. After a few weeks of being CP and GR, I just happen to know a lot of the warps, and that seems to be a common theme with a lot of them.
This isn't Mater. Taryn gave me a tractor named Mater. You're Aaron. Anyway, yes. Cool. I think we'll move on from.
Oh, hello,
I think we'll
Mater.
move on from GR stuff, maybe. Yeah. So cool. That's guest relations. If you have any more things related to the guest relations department, and you want to know more about how all that kind of stuff works, go on down to the guest relations to the guest relations panel at 2 p.m. Yeah.
All right. Next, or
let's do Imagineers next. So the Imagineering application. There's one
up for this.
Yeah. There's one really important part about that application.
What is your favorite color?
Aaron? Yeah.
Definitely the color thing. I mean, let's be real.
All right.
If you get that wrong, if you say color I don't like, it's an immediate deny. So just be aware of that.
No, in all honesty, we want to see the pictures and videos of your previous projects. That's 100% the most important thing in this application. That being said,
just to kind of
what are you looking for when you look at those pictures, Aaron?
Well, it's kind of like a thing of just in general, just to back up that point of we still do get a lot of applications through without anything to kind of, it will be a message of, oh, I don't have any pictures, but if you give me a message, I can see what I can do, or just trust me, I build good. And that isn't really what we look for in an application. Consider an application for Imagineer to be Like, it's your time to really show off what you can do and to really prove that you are someone that we want to hire. And, you know, pictures are amazing, videos are amazing, even coordinates for if you've done something on the creator server and you want us to go and have a look, the coordinates will do. But a message of, oh, don't have anything, sorry, but please consider me, that is usually an automatic deny, just because it is, you know, it kind of goes beyond what we're expecting for that app. You know, we really want that to be a chance for you to shine, to show off what you can do. So, you know, do it. Post anything you can just to prove your build skills and what you can bring to the team.
It's kind of a test of your technical literacy too. Can you figure out how to upload images and stuff to a website? So
yeah, that's a big thing.
like we'll get DM'd images a lot, and just like we do, there's a lot of apps that come in, and you know, just for organization purposes, it's not always easy to keep the images you DM us with the images or with your application. So usually images that are DM'd to us, unless there's like extremely special circumstances, aren't considered.
Yeah, how about the content of the picture of the build itself? Are you looking for, like, you know, something that looks like it could have come off the MCParks server? Like, maybe, like, if I'm not quite there yet, but I think I can get there, like, what's important in looking at that build?
I mean, I for one definitely don't necessarily look for anything that, you know, a lot of people do ask, does it have to be the quality that you guys have? Does it have to be what, you know, if it looks like something that you've built on MCParks? And honestly, no. The idea of, especially with the team as we are now, you know, we have a lot of different people and we have a lot of talented, you know, builders from different servers. I mean, I've come from, obviously, Hyperion Parks, and other people have come from other servers, and we all have our own styles, we all have our own level that we build. But the idea is we come together, we work on these projects together or separately, you know, either as a team or individually. But if it's something you can be proud of, you know, if it's something that you've worked on and you think you've done a really good job and it looks awesome and you can tell you've put in the time, it doesn't matter what it looks like or what it is, put it in the app, because if it looks like you've at least made the effort and, you know, put some pride into what you do, that is something to consider. Like, you don't have to be the best builder ever. You don't have to do something that you know, looks like it would be a champion at some kind of a competition. You know, it's more how much time it looks like you've put into your build. It's more how much effort you think, you know, if it looks like to us you've put in a lot of effort and it looks like you're really proud and like you enjoy the idea of building and you're not just doing it just to try to get in, that kind of does for us. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something that you want to show off and doesn't have like rushed it, if that makes sense.
Over time, you'll learn sort of what we do and don't like just by hanging out with the other Imagineers and building with them and stuff. You'll sort of figure out, like, even if your build style isn't currently what we kind of do, you'll pretty quickly pick up what it is that we do try and strive for just by hanging out with the other people and building with them.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. We're really looking for more potential than 100% replicating our style at the gate.
Like we all started with wall buildings 5-6 years ago. You know, we didn't start like this. We did not do this at the start. We've all been there.
Wall buildings. People from yesterday's panel know.
Oh yeah. But yeah, you know, like I think it's because of the team that we have and everybody working together that we've been able to kind of iterate our style and get it to the point where it is now. So, you know, yeah, definitely all important stuff. Yeah, so that's really the most important part of that application. The rest of the questions that we're just kind of asking about your preferences in working alone or on a team, what you think about your own leadership skills in case, you know, you're interested in that down the line. We have the question about constructive criticism, being able to take constructive criticism and incorporate that into your build, and to not get personally hurt by getting criticism and getting comments and getting ways to improve. That's really important as well, because we kind of have a very high quality standard here. People might be like, sure, it looks good, but if we're going to open this to guests, it needs to be, a bit higher quality. So that's something that's really important. Don't stress if you don't have experience with any of the big checklist items that we ask if you have experience with. That's just kind of to get a feel for how many of the technologies that we use are similar technologies that open source similar technologies to the ones that we use that you're familiar with. There's also the question of which of the following would you be interested in building for MCParks? Aaron, I want to ask you, which of these are the most in demand from the checklist on the application? Outlines, also known as marking if you're European, exteriors of structures, interiors of structures, landscaping, large-scale builds, for example, sets for screen-based rides, or rides.
Yeah. To be fair, you'll be surprised at how many people do just take all of them, because, yep. What was the question again?
Which of those is the most in demand? Yeah, which of those is the most in demand, or like if what would be the most attractive? If like one of those was someone's specialty, what would be the most like? Oh wow, that's not someone who we have as as their specialty very often.
Okay, to be fair for that, definitely, especially as we move into this era of trying to complete the attraction list we have and opening up some of these more bigger screen attractions. Not many people really go for that. I think it's something maybe they think wouldn't be that enjoyable or that they wouldn't really want to work on, but working on the big sets of some of these attractions can actually be quite fun. And we do have a couple of members on the team right now that are getting quite far into some of these attractions. Shout out to Moore and Dries and a few others there for their recent work. But definitely, especially if you're not that good at detailing or smaller builds, the kind of large scale builds, definitely something that especially I'm currently looking for. If anyone was wanting to apply for that kind of area, because we're definitely looking to get a few more people on for that kind of thing. Otherwise, kind of anything. Outlining. I know it says a few things of what can you provide, what can you do for the team, along the lines of books or outlining. World edit. They're all useful skills to have. Outlining is something especially useful if you already know. It's something we teach you. Actually, yeah. On that note, I know a few people are always hesitant to apply because they don't know certain commands, or they don't know how to outline. They don't know how to do world edit or any of this, but there's stuff we can easily teach you. It's stuff I do let people know if they want to learn how. But if you already know it, it's usually quite easy to maybe have a Google. There's a few tutorials online. I know
there's one on our website
plugins.
For the
outlining. Discord.
Actually, that's usually the link we send out for anyone wanting to learn outlining. So if you want to learn something to help your application, then go to the MCParks website and go to things to do, the outlining utility. Have a half-hour session maybe, just getting used to that, and that'll help your application to no end.
If you search Minecraft outlining, we're on the second page of the Google search results for the outlining tool.
We are just that awesome.
So definitely check that out. I mean, that's something that can help you in not MCParks related things too, if you're just trying to build one-to-one stuff. Me personally, I love seeing people who are really good at landscaping and interiors. They're very two different things, I know, but interiors sometimes people find to be a drag. Maybe less so now that we do all the armor stand heavy stuff. But it's great to see people who have a passion for doing interiors and getting the details of the indoor spaces. It's a bit harder sometimes because there's not as many concrete references for where different pieces of furniture go in a building than there is satellite imagery for outdoor spaces. but that's really important. And landscaping too. I always feel like a build starts to look done when all of the landscaping starts to get done, when all the trees start to get put in. We make custom trees. We don't just, plop down a sapling and put bone meal on it. We make custom trees. Yeah, no. We call those notch trees. I don't know how much that's a theme park community specific term and how much this is the Minecraft community term.
It might be a builder term.
Yeah, I don't know. But,
I feel as though map makers would mention that too.
Yeah, okay. But, so like I love seeing all the landscaping get done. And especially now there's a lot of, not things in the parks and just in like the general Walt Disney World area. Like, we started working on the area below the Skyliner. It's a lot of landscaping. I have a deal with Legend of Sif that when the golf courses get built on the server, we will have the best golf recreation in Minecraft. The best golf experience in Minecraft we will have.
Maybe we should have golf courses an extra as an extra option for that.
Yeah, it goes into landscaping, I think.
Outlining interiors, exteriors, golf courses.
Golf courses.
It sounds perfect to me.
MCParks and golf. 1-to-1 golf course designs from around the world. That'd be really cool. I'd be totally down for that personally, but whatever.
Isn't that what all these people are here for anyway?
That's it. That's it. So you joke about Top Golf in Minecraft, but we've already joked about that, and we probably will do it once we have the golf system. Yeah, so that's happening eventually. But anyway, so that's Imagineering. Any questions regarding Imagineering applications or anything like that we can answer?
Honestly, as long as you just like send pictures, everything else is secondary.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Pictures are definitely the main thing.
I'd like to do technicians next, which is difficult because technicians are in a difficult spot because a lot of what we do uses a lot of custom tools. So we're not really expecting you to have instant familiarity with, our tools in particular. So yeah, it gets a little difficult. So Vec, how can people kind of show their prowess in doing the type of tech work that we do, given that they don't have access to our proprietary tools?
So one of the main things that I look for when I'm going through technician applications is any technical skills that you've used outside of MCParks, like any personal projects, like maybe from any form of like websites or source code or any like coding background that you might have. That's a big thing for me.
Yeah, it's worth noting, Vec, that you don't have like actual programming experience outside of Minecraft.
No, I actually don't.
But
it definitely helps, I feel like.
Yeah, it shows like that type of mental reasoning that we're looking for.
Right. I also like pictures and videos of previous projects that you've done in Minecraft is also pretty cool too. Like even if you've just worked with command blocks and you've shown proficiency with like basic Minecraft, entity data and stuff like that. That would also be very helpful.
Yeah, an understanding of like how well do you know the game mechanics of Minecraft? How well do you know what is possible to be done with an entity? What is possible to be done with these different effects and stuff like that? So those are the two things really. We want to understand that you have the mental reasoning skills to kind of make out a pseudo program like thing with all these different kinds of effects. And then we want to know that you have an understanding of what is possible in the game to do. The programming language does not matter because you're not going to be really writing code as a technician. The code that you're going to be using is our commands that we've written. And so they're structured like Minecraft commands. So familiarity with Minecraft commands is really good to see. So whether that's, different plugins or mods that are out there, it's difficult to show that you have familiarity with the stuff that we use because it's private stuff. But there's so many great creator tools out there in Minecraft that there's definitely other ways to show prowess in creating custom experiences in the game. So even though we don't use command blocks and vanilla Minecraft commands, if you know how all that stuff works and you can create really cool things, it will transfer very easily to what we do here. In fact, you'll find what we do here a lot easier than that kind of stuff because the commands are written in a better way.
Yeah. Also, another important thing to note, that actually on our creative server, you have access to the train carts and train carts attachments plugin, which is actually like occasionally I'd go on creative and look for guests that have been messing around with that and creating all kinds of cool stuff, like custom rides and making all these really crazy models with train carts attachments in like shows or stuff. So that's actually something that we use on the main servers as well. So that is pretty cool to see from a prospective technician.
There's some crazy stuff on creative.
Yeah.
Like stuff that goes far beyond what we would ever do with train carts, but it's impressive.
Yeah, we have certain limits that we put ourselves on with using train carts for certain things for a variety of reasons, but
scalability and like those things on creative are like poorly.
Yeah, that's not what this panel's for, but yeah.
Come to the technician panel to hear all of us complain about train carts. I'm kidding.
I guess so. Yeah. Any other questions that people have having to do with technician applications? Yes, we did already go over guest relations.
I've seen like a general one for everything that's kind of been answered in chat. For the sake of people listening later, do bans or mutes affect your status of being accepted or not?
I mean, yeah, they do. I mean, it's almost like saying if I've been arrested and convicted of a crime, am I going to have difficulty getting a government job? If you break our rules, it's going to be difficult for us sometimes to determine whether, you should work with us, especially as a GR, if you want to enforce our rules. Now, of course, we understand honest mistakes happen. So if something happened and it was a mistake, it's not going to count against you.
If you were muted for spamming like 2 years ago, probably not a big deal now.
Yeah,
but
yeah. If you had like the auto chat filter caught you because you misspelled something, that's fine. Don't worry about it. We don't just look at, oh, you have bans, therefore you won't be hired. We kind of do more of our due diligence and look into it and see what.
It really depends on what you were banned for. Like if you're banned for griefing, we probably don't want to hire you as an Imagineer, right? Or as any rank.
Or anything, yeah. All right. Yeah, what other questions we got? Is there any way to be like an intern and watch everything that's going on and decide if you want to do it full time, if that makes sense?
That's kind of what CP is, a little bit.
Well, no, not really. I think not what they're asking.
Maybe not what they're asking, but it's sort of CP's a lesser version, a less intense version of GR.
Right. Yeah. So there's not really any way to like shadow our cast members. We just don't have the permissions infrastructure for that. Like at the moment, we don't have anything like that set up. But like you can obviously get accepted for the position and then figure out if you like it. And it might turn out that it's not a good fit for you. And, that's fine. Like it's not really like a huge deal. So that's definitely something that is okay. I would also recommend that you go to all of the department panels this weekend and listen to those if you're interested in hearing more about the different things. Yeah.
I see a question about technician. Is experience important for being a tech, as we have a lot of custom things? Well, I say any technical experience that you have, whether it's, like I said before, previous, coding knowledge or any like source code you can share, or just experience and proficiency with Minecraft commands and command blocks and stuff like that. I mean, that is pretty much the two of the main things that I look for, because since all of our plugins are custom and you actually don't learn how to use them until you get an interview set up for technician. Yeah, that's pretty much how that works.
Yeah, it's, again, we're looking for experience as far as like knowledge is concerned, because if you have just like technical knowledge in some other technical field, chances are that knowledge will transfer. And if you have that technical knowledge, then you know what we mean. And then if you don't, then I don't know, go to codecademy.com or like, you know, pick some kind of like programming tutorial, get an understanding for those kinds of logical things. Watch YouTubers who make lots of crazy Minecraft stuff and with command blocks and get a feel for how the game mechanics work. You know, chat up some of our technicians who are just in the Discord channel. Say, hey, you want to hop in general? We could talk about, you know, maybe how some of these effects work and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure some of them would love to talk to you.
Come to the technician panel or re-watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. Going back to Imagineering real quick, Aaron, we have a question. Do all the images on your portfolio have to be one-to-one, or can they be anything that I've created?
No. So actually, to be fair, I was going to answer a bit about this anyway, because a lot of people do have this thing of, if they think they can't build one-to-one, they think they can't apply, and they think they have no chance. But we don't necessarily need that kind of skill, especially when it comes to the fact that we can mark out a lot of our parks already marked out or whatever. We it isn't a necessity to show off anything you've done one-to-one. If it's just a nice build you've done, if it's a landscape, if it's something that you've made up on your own, your own imagination, you've made a world, you've done anything. It doesn't have to be a recreation of something in real life. Just anything that looks good, anything you're proud of,
If you have a one-to-one build, though, don't be afraid to share it. Like, even if you don't think it's perfectly one-to-one, like seeing that you can build on an outline is like really helpful. So like, if you do have a one-to-one build and you're hesitant about sharing it, then share it.
All right, cool. Any other technician questions?
I mean, technically building your house one-to-one would count.
That is building one-to-one.
It's not a huge sample size, but yeah, it counts.
Returning people. If you're returning to the team, chances are that we don't really need to see examples of prowess from you because we know what you can do. It's good to say like, oh, I was here in the past. I worked on, this attraction and this attraction and this attraction. Like, just shout out what you've worked on here. If you've worked on other Minecraft theme park servers before, saying, oh, I worked on this project at this server, here's a video of it on YouTube. That's great also. Obviously, if you're like a really old person for MCParks, maybe you worked on like, a really old version of an attraction. Like, oh, if I was trying to think of an old technician on MCParks.
Agent Carmichael.
If I was Agent Carmichael, then I'd say, oh, I worked on the 2016 Pirates of the Caribbean. You'd be like, oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I know personally for technician, like if you're looking to return to the team, like even if I just know your name from what you've done on the server, I think even like that's enough. Like, oh yeah, I think we could bring this guy back on.
Yeah, and similarly, if you've worked on other Minecraft theme park servers before, obviously the suite of tools that we use can be very different from the suite of tools used in other places. And again, if you have just like that technical experience and that sort of background in doing that kind of stuff, we'll be able to transition you into our suite of tools just because you have the knowledge that is necessary. So that's pretty neat. And also, like, another great as quality that I like to see in technicians is the ability to understand what is making their tools difficult to use and being able to vocalize that to me, who develops a lot of the tools, so I can make better tools for you. Like the tools that exist, they're not just like, they're not just like sent down from the heavens and here they are, this is the way that they are, they can't be changed. If there's improvements that can be made to them, we want to make them, to make them more productive for you. They're tools, right? They exist to be used. They exist to be made effective by you guys. So yeah. All right. Shall we move over to Parks Experience, the most nebulous?
Experience is the most interesting one because there's so many different aspects of it.
Yeah.
It's always growing. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yes.
Find out Darren being real cryptical.
So Parks Experience was born because, our other roles didn't really check all of the boxes of everything that we needed to successfully run this server. And so the Parks Experience teams, because there's multiple sub-teams within it, kind of work on everything from advancing our resource pack to advancing our media presence. For example, the Parks Experience branding and video production team are the ones responsible for the keynote that you are going to see in just a few short hours.
It's bad, then no, we're not.
Yeah. If it's bad, then it was all Vec. Just like Reflections of Earth, am I right? Or Heartbeat of Freedom.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah. And to social media stuff and to graphic design and the pixel art that we're starting to pop up with around the parks as well. So let's start with the resource pack team, I guess. Darren, do you want to talk about what we're looking for from someone who's applying for the resource pack team?
Yeah, so the Parks Experience team doesn't have a lead. It's just kind of Ryan and I and the other executives kind of directly looking over that. I think I handle pretty much most of the Parks Experience hiring, or at least in my mind, it feels like I do.
I think you.
And the number one thing I look for, you could leave, I'm not suggesting you do this, but you could leave the rest of the application blank, but as long as there is some sort of like reference picture or video as to what you do, that is the only thing I look for. And then if I decide, oh, hey, this is like decent, or, like we can work with this, then I'll go through and I'll read the rest of the information. But the most important thing in Parks Experience is just having that baseline skill. So unlike the other departments, we don't aim to train how to make models on the resource pack, and we don't aim to train how to do, the pixel artist work, and we don't aim to train how to make YouTube videos. Like that's just stuff that we're looking for people that have that pre-existing knowledge coming into the team. And so the most important thing is that portfolio or resume or demo reel or whatever you have to showcase, just being able to showcase that to us.
Yeah, and that goes for all of the sub things there. We really just want to see previous work and what you do, and showing an understanding of how to generalize things and how to kind of work within our particular brand of what we do, whether that's we have certain like style guidelines that we work on in the resource pack. We use Git and GitHub in particular to organize all of the files. So any familiarity with Git is great if you want to be on the resource pack team. How good do people have to be? Like, good enough. Like, it's a very difficult to answer question. But
it depends. And also, like, I know some people have put in some applications to join the Parks Experience team in the past like week and a half, but we've been so bogged down with the keynote stuff, which you guys will see in about 3 or so hours, and it has taken everything out of the entirety of the branding organization, essentially.
I'm going to be honest. am totally drained right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just running on fumes. I was up till 4 a.m. editing the keynote.
Yeah. So so I know that like the question of like how good is good enough could be very easily segmented into like, oh my gosh, what if I didn't put in, the right amount of detail? What if I didn't do this right? But like, if it's been within the past week or so, I assure you it's more on me than it is on you. Essentially, for something like the pixel artist, what I'm looking for is a base understanding of what we're trying to do. So the pixel artist team was born out of the notion that we should have a very consistent style guide and that everything on the server should be consistent. And before we were just taking images off of Google and like photoshopping together our own signs and stuff, and we just had this very inconsistent and almost jarring art style where we had photorealistic pictures of signs next to signs that we recreated in Photoshop next to vector images of them, and there were just all these conflicting different art styles, and we said, okay, like what if we take a step back, figure out what's the best way to progress with this. And Melody Witty Black, she came up with the idea of we should just make everything. And
well, she just sort of did it.
Yeah, and
poster and then posted it, and the rest of us were like, "Oh my god, that is great!" And then
yeah,
around it.
I remember there was a lot of reservation against wanting to do it because of just the overall undertaking that it would be. But the more work that she put into it, and was like, no, this is like a legitimate thing that we should be doing, and this is how we'll get to that point. It is what made us, sit down and be like, okay, like let's actually like build the team up out of this. And we were like, well, the Parks Experience team is a wonderful thing that exists. And so we're just looking for someone that is able to like emulate and match that art style, because the goal of the pixel artist team is one same consistent style. So the goal of people coming into the team should be being able to match that style. And so we get a lot of people that have a base understanding of like the pixel art aspect of it, but it's all very two-dimensional and very, very flat. So something that you have to keep in mind and be very aware of is your shading and kind of if you were to put this next to any other sign on the server, would it fit in? Would it feel natural? Would it look like it was made by not just the same team, but potentially even the same person?
Pixel art can be deceiving because if you were to watch someone do it, it almost looks like simple. Like you're like, oh, you just take that image and you trace over top of it, but there's a lot that goes into it. You're not tracing it. You're recreating the likeness of that image in a style that looks like it belongs in Minecraft. And that means like you have to take creative liberties with the image. You have to choose colors that work properly within the Minecraft color palette. Like it's really an art form that you wouldn't get just by watching someone doing it. You wouldn't understand how difficult it actually is.
Yeah. All right,
So,
cool.
That's pixel artist. Resource pack stuff is kind of the same way. Yet again, just having that strong baseline understanding. It's funny. I do, like we had just said, I do a lot of the hiring for people for the pixel artist branding and resource pack team. I am not a good artist. I know next to nothing about building a resource pack, and my video production skills start and stop with what I learned in high school. So it's always interesting to be bringing people onto the team that are way more talented than you, and you just have like a general idea of what they're doing and how they're doing it. Which is why, we ask that you have that experience, already coming in, because you're certainly not going to learn it from me, but other people on the team you may be able to pick up, tips and tricks from and kind of emulate what they do and get feedback from them. But as far as like an application standpoint, it's like working for a large company, right? The person that's hiring you isn't necessarily the person that is extremely well disciplined in the area that you're being hired for.
Yeah, parks experience is a lot different from technician, because like technician, we're looking for an understanding and of like tech stuff, and we'll train you. For this, we're kind of expecting that if you're being hired for video production, you know how to edit, you have editing softwares, you know. We're not training you how to edit, we're not training you how to film. You're kind of, if you're being hired for it, you're expected to know that already. And we're just sort of giving you stuff to utilize those skills on.
Yeah, and this is all generalizable to everything else, whether that's development or whether that's the branding and graphic design and video production as well. We just want to see that you already have these skills. We want to see that you can output stuff at the level of quality that we already are, because there's not really, we're not looking to do a lot of training. Mr. Fick, I don't really understand what you mean by, are we trying to switch from image on map to having humans do it? We're having humans make the images that go on the maps, but they do that. But like, I'm confused as to what you mean by that, because we're still using a software that is similar to image on map. Or just having humans make the images. Yeah, but maybe that's a little bit more for the Parks Experience panel. If you have any more questions about specifically how that stuff works,
you'll see kind of how that works during the panel. I saw, what do you look for in applications for PR branding? I
think it's all the same, right? I don't think there's anything in particular to add.
Like, if you want to know what kind of stuff you should be doing, watch the keynote. All of those videos are stuff that we've put together from our branding stuff. And if you can, there's vastly different styles in that. And if you can even compare to some of the stuff that's in that, then you're probably pretty good. And it's not super difficult. There's a lot of videos this afternoon that sort of glamour shots with music, right? If you can time glamour shots to music, that's all we need sometimes.
Ryan, do you want to talk a little bit about the development side of Parks Experience and kind of what we're looking for with that? And
yeah, again, it's all the similar thing. We want to see that you have experience already doing what it is that we do. Our code base, our main code base, is called MCPX. It's a big beast of a Java code base that includes both a bungee cord plugin, a Spigot plugin, and just like a general kind of server that kind of serves as the main source of data truth for where everything comes from in the MCParks system. So anything that is custom to our guest experience is in that MCPX code base. And so that's where everything happens, from the Magic Band to the guide maps to the inventory system to the distribution of park points and to tracking all of our stats and telemetry and all that kind of stuff is in MCPX. That's one of 3 code bases that we have. So if working on the guest experience and all that kind of stuff is your thing, MCPX is the code base that you'd be working on. The 2 other code bases are what we call show script, which is the language that our technicians use to create all of the shows and attractions. And so kind of working on stuff like that. And then there's also what is called MCP attractions, which is really just where all of our custom effects live. So that's where blockimations live. That's where armor stand animatronics live. That's where our spotlights and our lasers and all that, our particle paths. That's where all those things live. We're looking for an ability to write high quality, software. If you take any sort of software engineering class, that's good to see, because it is a very large code base, and it's different working in like these very large code bases than it is working in a smaller, hobby project or something like that. But yeah, I'm obviously free to answer any particular questions. I'm always open in my DMs. So yeah. Alrighty. Any questions that we haven't gotten a chance to answer in any of the departments?
I missed something major apparently because I see chat
Yes, you did.
crazy. I was looking in the image server for that comparison image, and I come back and I don't know what happened.
If I've already put an application in the
Nothing
last
happened.
2 weeks, if I already put an application in the last 2 weeks, is there any way I could message someone to have a look at it, my portfolio again, if I had to do images to it? No, you're gonna have to wait until you apply again. Yeah.
I saw a question about age limit for developers.
In order to work on MCParks, you need to be 13 years old because we need to have you need to have a Discord account, and that's kind of the main age limit for anything. Well, technicians teach you some stuff if you don't understand train carts and basic Minecraft commands. We want to see technical ability. You need to show us that you are able to technically reason through the stuff that we do, and you're able to kind of like you'd be able to, if we tell you how our commands work, like, you know, actively make effects.
Like if we say here's how to make a spotlight, then we expect you to be able to go and do a little mini show using just spotlights because we taught you the command, and now it's time to put that command to use.
Yeah, that being said, train carts and basic Minecraft commands are things that you can definitely learn on your own. So if you want to learn some things to show your ability to us, those are two really good options.
And yeah, I did answer this in the chat. Just want to throw this out here to reiterate that if you don't hear back from your application within 2 weeks, feel free to just send in another one.
Okay. I was going to answer that too, Darren. So go ahead.
Okay. For the PR and branding stuff, whatever you use is fine. It's more of what you do with the tools you have rather than what tools do you have. So
yeah, once you export something, whether it be a model or a video or whatever, like it doesn't matter if you used Premiere or if you used like Windows Movie Maker, I guess. But like it doesn't matter what you used as long as you produce something that looks good.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people on the pixel artist team are using Photoshop and other people are using paint.net. So it's whatever gets the job done. No, there's not any such thing as, too many applications. The big thing is like.
Well, there is one every 2 weeks.
But yeah, but the main reason why we have that rule is so that way it gives you time to improve, right? So if you are just sending in an identical application every 2 weeks, it's not going to not work 1 week then work the next week. Like that 2 weeks is time for you to work on what you're applying for and improve and get better. And so I personally, if it was like time 3 or 4, I'd take a step back, be like, okay, let me really, reevaluate what I'm doing here, really try to improve, and then send in another one.
Yeah, it goes for all of the departments. But if you're not happy, then it might be time to rethink the entire approach to the application because unless there's other problems that we know about you, it's most likely your application just isn't impressing above the people who are getting hired. it just isn't standing out well enough to warrant us looking into it further.
Yeah. All right.
Seems like that's going to start wrapping up the application panel.
Yeah. All right. I gotta get some food.
I wanna skim through the draft again. Not that I can change much now, but
Yeah, I don't think there's much time. I think skimming through is just gonna be All right, cool. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming to this panel, learning more about applying. If you have any other questions, maybe you can ask them in the discussion, and maybe some people will answer them. You never know. It's been a pleasure. So I hope you all enjoyed. Guest relations panel, a brief overview of what else we got today. We have the guest relations panel at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, at 4 p.m. Eastern is the keynote address, and 3:30 is when the pre-show is going to start. You can head on over to mcparks.us/expo if you want to get the link to the YouTube premiere. And then after the keynote, we're going to have a Q&A back here with me and Darren, where we will answer the questions that you have. And then 6 p.m. Eastern is the technician panel, where we're going to go, you can ask questions about any of the stuff that you saw in the keynote, more about being a technician, go more in depth about any of the stuff. I don't know what Vec has planned, so
I'm just gonna.
We're just gonna wing it.
We're just gonna wing it.
All right, cool.
Full disclosure, we have no plan.
So that's what we got today. So that's the rest of today's festivities, but there's more panels tomorrow as well. So thank you all for coming to the application panel.
Come join us at 3:30 p.m. Eastern for the largest collection of MCParks archive content ever put to film. That's the pre-show. It's a half hour of just old videos, and then we do the keynote at 4.
Awesome. Panel adjourned.